let me start from there. UC, University of California, all of you know. There are 9 campuses, and probably you heard of, if not all, I mean, definitely most of them, right? If not all. But so UC Berkeley, I know Berkeley, UCLA, a lot of students dream school, UC Berkeley, UCLA. I went to UC San Diego and I went to UC Irvine, so I'm product of UC, but Irvine, San Diego, Davis, Merced, Riverside, Santa Barbara, and Santa Cruz. Those are the 9 UC campuses with undergraduate program. Okay. And there's so great thing about UC is it's one of the best public education in the United States. Okay. And UC program is well known all over the world. Okay. So, everybody, it doesn't matter what country you go to, you say, I graduated from UCLA or Berkeley, probably they would heard of that school. Okay. And really prestigious school. And on top of that, they provide one of the best education. I can tell you that at a discounted price. Okay. Depending on obviously your situation, we're going to get into that, but your immigration status, all that, the tuition will be different. We'll go over that too. But there are 9 UC campuses, and in terms of application purposes, guess what? You just have to complete one application for all UCs. So let's say you want to apply to 4 UC schools or campuses, you just need to complete one. Okay, you complete one, and you can apply to all 4 of them, 5 of them, 9 of them. Okay, you don't have to write more additional essays for them. There's a few, sure, there are a few special cases, but I can tell you, generally speaking, you don't have to write anything, provide anything else, as long as you complete this one application. So they call it single application. Okay. Moving on. Key dates. Okay. So it opens up today, just opened up, and the submission window, actually it changed this year. They changed to October, but that's okay. Most likely you're gonna complete the application before the deadline, because deadline is the most important thing, and deadline is November 30th. Okay. So every year UC application deadline November 30th. All right. Unless sometimes November 30th falls on Sunday, then it'll be the following Monday. But this year, November 30th is not on Sunday, so it'll be November 30th. November 30th, 11:59 p.m. That's your deadline. Do you want to wait until that time? Obviously not. Okay. So I can tell you that our goal is to make sure you finish before Thanksgiving. Okay. If you finish everything by Thanksgiving, you submit it by Thanksgiving, great. Okay. Sometimes you're gonna need that Thanksgiving break to finalize whatever complete. That is okay too, as long as you submit that, press that button and then done with the submission by 11:59 p.m. November 30th. Okay. UC does not have early action or early decision. I'm not going to get too much into what early action or decision is, but basically you submit earlier and get the result earlier. But UC doesn't offer that. Some private schools offer that, actually a lot of private schools, but UC doesn't. So there's only one deadline, which is November 30th. Now, if you are US citizen or permanent resident student, and sure, there's a DREAM Act. Again, I'm not gonna go over FAFSA, anything like that, or loan. I'm not going over that, just application, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys file FAFSA before the due date. Okay, FAFSA is it's a free application for a student, the financials. So I just want to make sure you guys do that. Your school's counselor should be helping you with that. Okay. And once you submit by November 30th, and then you're gonna get the respond sometime between, most likely sometime between February, some of them receive really early from less competitive schools, but I'll say generally speaking, sometime around March. Okay. You receive the response from them and you get in, and hopefully you get into multiple of them, and you make the choice which school you want to go to, and you have to make that intent to register by the May 1st. Okay. All right. Now let's get into this. Again, if you have any questions, just put it in the chat. Okay. All right. Creating your account. So first thing I want you to do is go to apply.universityofcalifornia.edu. And that should look like this. Okay. If you have two monitors, great. If you have single monitor, you may go back and forth, or you use half the space of the monitor. But and then on on the screen, you're gonna find Create an Account button in the middle. Okay, and you'll see a pop-up of Create an Account. Now, when you see the Create an Account pop up in the middle of the page, okay, um, one thing to notice, please do not use your school email as an email address. Make sure you create your personal email that you use. You can create email, Gmail, um, what other emails are out there, but mostly Gmail. But you can create Gmail just for the application. That is okay too. All right. But create your personal email. Here's the reason why. Oftentimes your school email has a lot of filtering system, and I've had students, not personally myself, but I heard of students who use the school email and say, oh, I wasn't getting any response from the colleges, and the student didn't know what was going on. So just make sure you use the personal email, not your school email. Okay. And make sure you check the box that you're confirming that you have read and agreed to our terms of use, and you move on to the next page. Okay. And then you're gonna get an email. So check your email and you're gonna see the whatever 6-digit code. So let me do that too. Yeah, because I used that email. Second. It's this one too. Sorry, give me one second. Stop sharing. Sec. Okay, so that's the screen you're going to be seeing, right? Where you saw. And I just need to check the 6-digit code. Waiting for my 6-digit code. Did everyone get the 6-digit code? Anyone or didn't get the 6-digit code? Forever too. Technical difficulty. Give me 1 second. Never had this issue before. Ah, oh, oh. I typed, so that happened. That's why. Yeah, give me 1 second. I typed the wrong email address. Give me 1 second. This one, 6 W. Okay. Yeah, so share. Okay. So you're on that screen and you type in the verification code. 2, 3, 6. Okay. From here. Okay. From here, I had students choosing um, wrong semester before. So I just want to make sure you choose the right. Can we change it later? Absolutely. But I just want to make sure you are choosing fall semester of 2027. Okay. Choose fall 2027. And now, if you're a transfer student, you're choosing transfer, but most of you will be first year student. Okay, so you're currently a high school student, graduating from high school. Okay, and you have never been attending college. Okay, I'm not talking about dual enrollment, but you never attended like community college to transfer. Then you're a first year student. Okay, but I know some of you are transfer student. That's why. But most of you will be fall 2027 fall first year. Continue. Start application. Now, this section. So this is where you're going to be working all of your questions. Okay. Back. Okay. Once you verify the email, and we selected the terms and double. This portion right here, this is where you're going to be inputting all the information, everything. Okay. Everything. All right. Oh, here's a question. Okay. The website login one more time. Oh, okay. Victoria, do you need the web address? You can just type it in. Um, or what you can do is you can just go to Google or any search engine and then type in UC application. Then you're going to see apply.universityofcalifornia.edu. Okay. And click on create account. Okay. Now, we should complete few things before we move on to the next section. So what I want you to do is I want you to type your name. Now, when you type your name, make sure all the information that we put it in, they have to be your legal information. Okay, so um, your legal name that should be showing up on your transcript. Okay, if they don't match, then sometimes there could be a delay. You don't want that happen. Okay, so make sure you use the legal name. Um, for my case, it'll be and now, if you have very common first name and last name, okay? So a lot of Asian students, it could be, I don't know, I'm just making this up, but let's say John Kim, okay? Then, or John Lee. Then if you have middle name, I know it's not required to put middle name, but my suggestion is to put middle name. So not for UC, but I had a question. I had a student, um, whose name was very common first name and common last name. And he applied to and got into, by the way, Stanford. But he um, there was another candidate with the exactly same birthday. Yes, I know. There were two students here in the United States with the exactly same name with the same date, birthday. So there was some confusion at the college level. So there was some like when they were setting up the interview, there was some confusion happen. Okay. Um, there will be less and less, obviously, with all the computer system, but um, I had an experience. So my suggestion is always put middle name if there's a middle name. So there's less confusion. Okay. Middle name. This one is if you have any name that you used differently, right? So have you ever used a different legal name? If so, this is where you can put those names, okay? So different legal name, okay? And you lived or preferred name. So these can be different from transcript, okay? But this one needs to match your transcript because that's your legal name. Yeah, that's the key thing. Um, whatever your birthday, okay? Um, wherever you're born, okay? Uh, uh, and the place. All right. Now, I don't know if you noticed, maybe you did, but some of the questions had this asterisk mark, and some of the questions did not have asterisk mark. Okay, maybe you noticed, but see how do you, so here, for example, have here in terms of the first name, first and given name, asterisk mark, middle name doesn't have anything, right? If it doesn't have an asterisk mark, that means you don't have to answer that question. You can leave it blank. Okay. So for example, when were you born? Month, day, and year, you have to put your birthday. Okay. Where were you born? You have to put the place you were born. Okay. But have you attended a California public school? See how it doesn't have an asterisk mark? That means you can leave it blank and it is okay. All right. Okay. So, but then, well, why would you leave it blank? This one doesn't impact your application, so you say yes or no. Okay. Now, if you put no, so you just attended private school, then you put obviously no, right? And you move on. You are attending public school, public high school, then you put yes. Then it might ask you California SSID number. Okay, so that's a state student ID number. State student ID number is a long 10-digit number. All right. It should be on your transcript, but it depends on the school. Okay. Now, your counselor can give you that information. Now, is it required to put your student ID number if you attend public school? No. About why should I put that information? If you put state, sure, you can read the whole thing, but I can summarize it. If you attend public school here in California, public high school, and you input that SSID number, then some of the information that's already uploaded auto-populate for you. That makes your life a little bit easier, I'll say, but still you have to review them because sometimes the information is incorrect. Okay, but it makes your life easier. Yes, it's the number that you use for CASP, most likely, or CASP, but only public high school. Because if you chose, I attended private school, so I'm gonna click no, right? Then see how you don't have an option. So only public. Okay, if you attended private school, click no, you move on. If you attended public high school, you click yes, and you can put that information later. You don't have to do that right now. Okay. See how there's no asterisk mark, which means you can leave it blank and then move on. Okay. But for now, I'm just gonna click, oh, I attended private school. So I put no, and then I'm gonna move on to the next page. Any question on that personal information section? Public middle school, then don't worry about it. Just high school. And if there's no, let's say you attended public school and then you didn't input SSID, it is okay too. It's just you have to type in everything later, just like private school student, okay? Or private high school. All right. Okay. Put your home address. Okay. And I'm asking you to do the following things because if you don't, you're not able to move on to certain sections. That's why. Okay. So I'm just putting random address. Okay. So type in your address. Don't worry, I'm not gonna go through every single of them, by the way, but I'm just going through some of the sections that you should complete. Be ready before you input other information. Okay. Um, and is this where we should send email? See how it doesn't have a string mark? You can leave it blank. Okay. Then which means they're gonna send whenever they have to send mail, then they're gonna just send it to your home address. That's it. Okay. But sure, I'll use that. What is your phone number? It is crucial that you put your phone number. Okay. Make sure you put your phone number. You don't have to choose if it's a cell phone home, but students choose, because they want to receive text message. So they put their cell phone number and they check this box where you authorize the school to send a text message. Alternate phone number, you do not have to, but some students prefer to put their parents' contact information just in case. Okay, so you can put yes and put your parents' information, but it's optional. Okay. Can we share your contact information with UC campuses and program? Just click yes, I authorize. It doesn't impact your application, but it's just sharing with other schools. So you get more like flyers, information, so on and so forth. Okay. Why not? Because if you get more outreach program information from other campuses, something that who knows, you might find interesting. So just click share my contact information unless you don't want to. Okay, it's up to you. Any question on this page? Just putting the address and contact information. Good. Okay. Save and continue. Hmm. Now, this is a section where, some students get really confused. Okay. Now, let me start from the easy one. So if you are a US citizen, okay, then it'll be pretty simple. Like you were born here in the United States and um, then you're going to have a social security number, right? And now it says social security number and then it's optional. So again, you don't have to put. Uh, and this question is optional, but most likely no, you're not Native American, right? Okay. This is very important question for students, either a legal resident or U.S. citizen. By the time you attend UC, will you have graduated from California high school? That's very important, okay? So I'm not talking about public or private, okay? So if you are here in the United States, California, okay? Not other state. I assume most of you are here in California. So, um, by the time you graduate from by the time you attend UC, are you from here? Dual citizenship, I will say, put US. Okay. So will you have graduated from California high school? Most likely you guys will be yes, right? Most likely, because let's say you were born here in California, lived here only in California, then yes. Okay. And by the time, this is key, by the time you attend UC, will you have attended California school for 3 or more years during grade K through 12? Okay. Now, why are they asking that question? Because maybe you know, maybe you don't, but you know how people say UC is discounted price cheaper. Why? Because it's public school. In order to get that tuition discount, you have to be a California resident. Okay. How is it determined? Well, by the easiest one is if you attended California high school for 3 or more years by the time you attend UC. So if you study California, okay, California school, you move from, let's say, I don't know, I'm making this up. Let's say you move from New York, ninth grade. So you attended California high school, either public or private, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So you're going to be 12th grader, right? 10, 12, 11, 12. And you're US citizen or legal resident, then you're gonna get a tuition, the California discounted tuition. Okay, so most of you will be probably like, oh, I'm U.S. citizen. I was born here. You know, I'm attending either private or public high school, but I've been attending that California public or private school more than 3 years. So you'll be yes, and then you move on. Okay. Some of you could be different case. Some of you could be international student, right? Then it'll be different. Okay, so like whatever country I'm gonna choose, let's say China. No. Um, then it's gonna ask you different question. Are you legal resident here? So you might have citizenship as your Chinese citizenship, but you might have a legal residency here. Then you choose this one. Then you get the same discount. Okay, so good for you. Okay. And you're going to be asked the same question. Did you attend California high school 3 or more years? Okay. So let's say you lived in China, you were born in China, and you attended Chinese school, elementary school, middle school, and then even, oh, I think China goes ninth grade, that's middle school. But let's say you moved here and then studied your first day of high school, 10th grade, and then that 10th grade first day study here. Okay. And then so it'll be 10, 11, and you're going to finish up 12th this year. So on 10, 11, 12, then you press yes here. Okay. Because you attended 3 or more. Okay. Now, if you're not legal resident, but then you have whatever, those international the student visas, then you're gonna be asked different questions. Okay. So some of you probably are, and it depends on, you have to check your visa. Most likely F1 student or F2, I know. Like your parent came here as a student and then they still didn't get legal residency, anything like that, and you're a child of. But that you should be asking your parent, okay? But most likely F1, most likely, okay? But see how they don't ask you how many years of a California high school, because you're not gonna get that um, the discount or tuition discount as a resident. So I'm gonna again go back to here, just assuming that US citizen, moving on. Oh, before I move on, any questions? Again, if you're dual citizen, you have a dual citizenship, then choose the US because you already have a United States citizenship. Okay, questions. All right. Next up, sticky one, demographics. Okay. So, um, let me start from here. Will colleges use demographics background for their college application? I know they've been getting in trouble or it's been the hot topic. Okay. So I know a lot of schools now, they don't use any of the background information. UC also states, okay, see how providing demographics information does not affect your chances of admission. Okay, so UC doesn't use any of that information for your college application process in a way. Okay, now it's up to you if you put that information or not. Why? Because again, going back to remember how if it has an asterisk mark, you put, if there isn't, you don't, right? You don't have to. So the first question, do you consider yourself Hispanic or Latino? Okay. Um, doesn't have answering mark, so you don't have to say yes or no. Okay. Any of the information here, as you can see, uh, doesn't have answering mark, which means you can skip them. Okay. You don't need to. Okay. Your gender, everything, you can skip them. You can disclose, it's up to you. All this information shouldn't impact your application. I say shouldn't because again, application reviewers are human beings, but um, they shouldn't. Okay, they're trained professionals. It's up to you. You can input, you don't have to input. And see how I didn't answer any of the questions in terms of my demographics, but I get a check mark, which means I'm done with that section. I have completed that section, as you can see. Now, what if I'm gonna go back to one of the what if I miss one section? So I didn't put zip code and has an asterisk mark and I try to save it. Okay, then it's gonna give you, hey, there's some error. You didn't answer all the questions. You can continue working on it by click on continue work and then try to find that information. It's gonna give you the orange, reddish color box, making sure that you complete that section. Or you can decide to, I'm going to skip this page for now and I'll come back. You can do that too. Then you'll notice that there's no check mark. That means you're not done with that section. Okay. All right. Let me go back to this section. So far, so good, everybody. All right. You're like, we didn't even talk about colleges. I know we're getting there. Um, okay. Uh, Now, we've been talking about you and your family so far, okay? So we're going to continue that because it's about you section, right? Your background. What language did you learn to speak first? Okay. Now, again, it's not going to impact your chance of getting in, doesn't impact. Okay. So whatever the language that you learned, okay. So it could be English only, English and another language, you choose one. Okay. If you choose another language or other language, then it's going to ask you to choose one. Okay. Here. Does not impact. Okay. Next section. Please tell us more about yourself. Most of you are not married. Most of you probably don't have children. Uh, not enough foster care. You're not enough foster care. Okay. You're not homeless. Okay. You're not gonna be a U.S. Armed Forces. So most of you will be none of the above. Okay. Most of you. Are you a dependent of U.S. military veteran or service members? Yes or no? Okay. It's gonna impact your college application fee, so on and so forth. But most of you probably know, but Obviously, I had students whose parents were U.S. military veteran. Moving on. Any questions on that page? I think it was pretty simple. All right. Now this section, I will just go over really generic thing, because this is a section where I get a lot of like questions because of your family situation. Okay. So who lives with you at your permanent home address? Okay. I get question a lot. Sure. Generally speaking, I'm generalizing it. Most of you probably will be like, oh, I live with mom and dad, two parents. Um, that's it. Okay. So two parents, most of you. Some of you, but it could be different situation where, you know, I'm international student. I'm living with legal guardian. It could be the situation, or my parents are in Arizona, and then I'm living with a legal guardian. That could be the situation. Or my dad is in Korea, China, India, wherever, and I'm living with my mom. Okay. Now that situation we need to discuss. So if that is a situation, please let your counselor know. Okay. Okay, from CL. Um, because it can impact your application. Okay. So most of you, again, two parents at home, that's it. But if not, that's not the case, please let your counselor know. Okay. Yeah, if you're going to be working with me, please let me know. Okay. Uh, Total income, again, most likely you don't have to disclose, so you can leave it blank. Again, going back to asterisk mark. You can leave it blank, but if you consider low income, then this will determine that you don't pay the application fee. Okay, so your low income, this is where you put that information. Okay. Again, no asterisk mark. How many people are supported by this income? What does that mean? So let's say at home, your mom, your dad, okay, living with your mom and dad, and then you have two siblings, and then you're living with your grandma and grandpa, let's say, okay? All right. And then whatever total income you put is that family income. And the number of people supported by the income will be seven in that case, right? Because they're all supported by that, whatever the income. Moving on. Okay. Um, this section is about your parent. So it depends on how many parents you chose. Okay. So if you're living with one parent, then you're answering about one parent. Two, it could, either way, um, again, this section could be a little bit complicated if again, your parent, your dad, mom, is not here living with you, anything like that, divorce, or one of your parents have passed away, anything like that situation could be a little bit complicated. Please let the counselor know. Okay. I'm gonna skip it for now. Now I'll show you the general situation where what is this parent's relationship to you? Okay, father. I'm gonna start with father. Doesn't matter. Mom. Most students start with mom. Is this parent living? Sure. And then you answer these questions about the parent. Employed, not employed, you know, um, education level, so on and so forth. And then mother. Okay, but see how I mentioned about divorced and stepfather, stepmother, legal guardian, all that information goes in here. Okay, whoever, the person that's living with you. Moving on. Skip the page for now. Okay. Statement of legal residency. This is a little bit complicated, so let me go through this first, and then you're gonna answer the questions. Okay. So going back to how, remember the UC tuition is taxpayer supports that tuition, so you get discounted price as long as you meet certain criteria. Certain criteria means you're legal resident or U.S. citizen living here in the United States, but California, so you're California resident. Okay. And then you have to meet whatever certain requirements. Okay. So physical, it's going to ask you about certain things and I'll go over them. So would you like to be evaluated for California residents for tuition purposes? If you're an international student, just put say no because you're not going to qualify for sure. You're a legal resident or you're a US citizen, then press yes. Okay. Okay, so again, you're international student, you put no, then you don't see this one. Okay, but if you put yes, most of you would, then it'll be asking you the same question. Have you been physically present in California for the last 3 years? Okay, so now some of you might be thinking, I visited my grandparents in Korea over summer. What do I do? Like I was here and there. Oh, don't worry about it, okay? We're talking about you mainly being here, okay? You mainly being here um, in California, okay? So if you lived in another state or country, then that's a different issue, okay? But you had a trip, Cancun, whatever the trip, those are just trip, okay? So have you been physically present in California for the last 3 years? Most likely, yes. Did you attend high school in California for 3 or more years? Remember, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Okay. Will you graduate or have you graduated from high school in California? So most of you probably will say yes, if as long as you attended California high school from 10th grade. I chose, US citizen before on the previous page under citizenship and residency. That's what's going to show up here. Have you and your parents established California as your permanent home for the past 366 days or more? So 1 year or more. Okay. Mostly, yes. Okay. Let's say I'm generalizing, but let's say you lived here with your parents and uh, you live with your parents here in California and you guys just lived here. Okay. Most of the cases. Okay. If not, please let me know. Then we're gonna go through this differently. Okay. Are your parents married to each other? Most of the cases, yes. Do your parents live together? Most of the cases, yes. Um, has parent one been physically present in California? Again, this I generalizing it has parent two, whatever so previous page, I put parent one as father, parent two as mother. I'm just following through. Has parent two been physically present in California for the last 3 years? Yes. Most of the situations are like this. But if different, please let your counselor know. I had a lot of students who, for example, parents are divorced and the student is living with mom and doesn't really know where dad lives, then you put parent one as mom, parent two as father, and then I don't know where he is, for example. Okay. Uh, is your parent a citizen? Again, same case. Mostly, yeah, both of my parents are citizens. It could be no. Depends on the situation. Okay. I'm just putting a general answer here. Um, you have to click these two boxes and move on. Okay. Depending on your situation. So I know if it's more complicated, where, for example, your dad is in China, supporting your family, or your mom is US citizen, but your dad is not, or your parents are divorced, and then, if it's a complicated situation, then please let your counselor know. Okay. We'll make sure we choose the correct ones. Okay. All right. So I know I skipped the parent information. Now we're gonna go to UC values. Any questions about you section? I'll give you about a minute. Okay. All right. Um, okay. By the way, when you're asking questions on a chat, obviously it's a public chat, but you can choose direct message. So thanks for using the direct message for a number of you. Okay. Uh, UC values, if you want to read them, sure, great. But basically, how it's a diverse community, we value it. We value honesty, integrity, so on and so forth. All the great things. Feel free to read them, but either way, you have to check yes, unless you don't want to apply to UC. All right. Again, going back to you're going to be a first year. Most of you, again, first year. Some of you could be transfer, but most of you, it'll be first year. Move on. Here, you're going to be choosing the campuses that you want to apply to, okay? Choose the one that you would apply to for now, as many as possible. Just choose them, okay? Why? Then let's say I want to apply to UC Santa Barbara, but then you decide not to later. You don't have to. You can always uncheck and then not apply. Okay. But if you check right now, then I'll show you on the next page. But you can see the majors. You can see more information about the school. That's why it's better to check for now. And then you decide not to, then you can uncheck it anytime. Okay. So I'm going to just check whatever schools that I'm going to check all of them. And it'll show you, see how your estimated cost, $720. But if I'm low income and then I put whatever that, whole family income, and if it determines that I am low income, then your estimated cost will show up as zero or whatever, less amount. Okay. It's up to four, the fee waiver, but not important. So I'm going to skip for now. Here, you're going to be discussing with your counselor what major you want to do, okay? Or you might have majors that you're interested in. This is where you do it, okay? This is where you choose them. Now, first thing you notice probably is UCLA. Oh, first thing you notice is there's a thing called major, and then there's a alternate major, okay? What are those things? Okay, you might be asking, what are those things? What do you mean by choose major and choose an alternate major? Okay, so choose major, you can see that there's an asterisk mark, which means you have to choose major for every single campus that you are applying to. Okay, whatever you want to study, right? Choose major. And then alternate major means, let's say you apply to I'm just making this up, okay? Let's say I'm applying to engineering. I want to study engineering, okay? Engineering is very competitive major, right? Very competitive. So I'm open to study different major, okay? Let's say engineering, definitely. My heart goes to engineering, but I am very open to study mathematics too, because I love math. Then what you can do is you choose major, the first one, and then you choose alternate major as the second option. So when the colleges review your application and say, all right, I just see your name, Tracy. Okay, Tracy, great. You applied to UC Berkeley Engineering and we love you. You got in. Great. You're done. You don't have to worry about alternate major. Okay. But let's say it was so impacted or competitive that you didn't get into the first choice major, but there's an opening for your second choice. My example will be I applied to engineering. I didn't get into engineering, but then UC Berkeley thinks, Tracy, you're a great student. You applied to math and there's an opening. And we think, you're a great fit to the mathematics department. So we're going to offer you that alternate major. Then you can say yes, and you can get into math, UC Berkeley. Okay. I'll give you a real example, which is great story. So I had a student who really, really wanted to go to UC Irvine. So I'm going to go to Irvine. Okay. And student really wanted to do uh, business major. Okay. This one as a business major. And that was it. But we were having conversation and then we are talking about, okay, that is a very competitive major. Okay. So what is another option that you might be thinking of? And we're discussing about we're talking about business economics, which is a little bit different, but still your focus is on economics, but also business. So we chose as an alternate major. Okay. So it'll show up as business and business and econ. The student's dream school was UC Irvine. So, but when she got the letter, she didn't get into business administration, but she got into business economics, business econ. She was thrilled to go to Irvine. So she said, yes, I want to go to Irvine with business econ. And over summer, she got a letter saying that, you know what, actually, the more seats have opened up for business administration, and you said yes to business econ, but do you want to switch back to business administration? Obviously, she said yes. So she started her UC Irvine school year, freshman year, as a business administration student. So things can be changing like that. So make sure you choose alternate major too. And especially alternate major, you should choose something that's less competitive. And you're going to have that conversation with the counselor. Okay. Um, okay. That's first thing. Do you have any questions about major, alternate major? So you're choosing two, right? But they're going to start from major. So they see if you're right fit for the major. But if you don't get offered, then you may get alternate major offer. But it doesn't go backward. Okay. They don't look at, oh, alternate major, great. And then they offer you alternate major instead of major. No, they're gonna offer you try to offer you major first. If it doesn't, then alternate major. They don't offer you both either. Okay. Now, you might also notice that UCLA does not offer alternate major. Why not? Because they're too busy. I'll say they get so many applications um, and they're not even, there's no point of applying or reviewing alternate majors. Okay, so other schools though, you choose major and then you choose alternate major. This one changes every year. Like a few years ago, it was Berkeley. Now UCLA is very impacted. Okay. All right. Now, remember I said any school that you might be interested in, just choose for now, and then you can uncheck later. If you chose UC San Diego as the school that you might be applying, then it's gonna ask you to rank colleges. Now, I'm not gonna go into details, just because, I mean, not everybody's applying to UC San Diego, okay? But if you choose one, then it's gonna ask you to rank the colleges within UC San Diego, okay? If you chose you're gonna have conversation with your counselor. Okay, so now moving on. Okay. At the end of every section, you can review. All right. When you go to academic history, we're not gonna go through every single of them, okay? Um, but I'm gonna go over just two sections from here, but okay, here we go. Okay. First thing, oftentimes students ask, I've done some high school level classes like Spanish 1 when I was in middle school. Do I get credit for it? And answer is yes. And this is a section where you put that, okay? So did you take any high school level math or language other than English? This is where you put that. Okay, so let's say you did Algebra 1, 8th grade. Then you put Algebra 1. I know there's an integrated math, so you might have done math 1, then you put yes here. Okay. And you've done a full year, that's how you put it. And you can even add more. Okay. So this is where you put that. Some of you who did not attend middle school in the United States, but you're in different country, then this is where you put that information. Now, why are they asking that question? Because they want to give you credit for it. Okay. So let's say you attended middle school in Korea, right? Like sixth grade or six and seven or six, seven, and eight. Then this is where you put that information. Okay. So uh, let's say I attended middle school in Korea, then I will put yes and then put Korean. Obviously, most of you probably know because you're here. The middle school, you attended school here in the United States. Okay. Okay. Next section, this is where you add high school that you're attending and you have attended. So any high school that you have attended from 9, 10, 11, and 12, this is where you add them. Okay. So let's say you attended high school 9 through 12 and you went to let's see, Cerritos High School. Okay, so California High School, not homeschool, not an independent, study, so it's something different, not traditional. So you type in Cerritos and you search, then you find the school that you attended and you add it. Okay. So you want to type in the high school that you attended. Start from the most recent one, okay? You attend all 4 years, great. Then you just add one. But you attended two schools, let's say you attended ninth grade somewhere else, and then you transfer to another high school, then you have to add both of them. Just start from the most recent one, okay? So let's say I attended Cerritos High School, and I didn't do career pathway, I didn't do IB program, it wasn't a magnet, then you leave them blank. Let's say, oh, I did magnet program. Then you put, yeah, that's what it is. Okay. If you're not sure, then make sure you talk to the counselor. Okay, either your school counselor or CL counselor. Okay. When I look at the transcript, then I can figure out you have done magnet program or not. But you should know. Okay. Or IB program or not. Okay. So, Cerritos High School. Okay, let's say I attended from August, uh, what is it? So let's say you guys probably studied from August 2024, is it? Until June, and you guys are graduating in 2027, right? That's what the information I would put. Some schools obviously start in September, then you put September. And let's say you attended from 10th grade, then it'll be different year. So you have to make sure that you check your transcript. Okay, so far so good. What grades did you attend this high school? You start from ninth grade, 10th, 11, 12, and ninth, 6.7. Yeah. So 23 to 24, ninth, 24 to 25, 10, 25 to 26, 26 to 27. That's a 4 years of high school. Okay. And let's say you have attended summer school between 10th and 11th. Okay. So after you finish 10th grade and then you took summer school, then I would put, I took summer courses after 10th grade. So you click on here. Okay. Let's say you took summer school this past summer, right? Then you put here, right? Because after you finish 11th grade, before you go into senior year, you took summer school. Okay. Why am I putting this information? Because you're going to be putting summer course that you have taken into into this section. That's why academic history. Okay. Uh, what is this school's grading system? Like most schools, public schools especially is A, B, C, D, F. I know some private IB schools, they use 1 through 7. Okay. Um, don't get confused where, oh, I took our school, we give percentage, like I get 97%, and if it's above 90%, then I get A. So is it 0 to 100 and ABC? No, 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 no. On your transcript, what does it show? On your transcript, most likely, it's just gonna show your letter grade, right? Not the percentage. So you're gonna be the letter grade school. What is this school's term system? Most of you semester, okay? Because you get grades twice, right? First semester you get a grade, and second semester you get another grade. They don't get combined. I've seen schools with trimester. I've seen school with quarters, actually, too. Quarters means I'm not talking about progress report card, by the way, okay? Please don't be confused. What is your final grades? How many times you get the final grade, okay? So, for example, my high school, we give grades 4 times, but first quarter grade is progress report. And then you get a first semester grade. Third quarter is a progress report. And then second semester, you get the final grade. So that case, I will put semester. But I know, for example, is it Torrance High School? I don't know if there's anybody in Torrance High School. You guys do quarter, one of your school, I remember. You guys are quarter system school, which means first quarter you take Algebra 1A, second quarter you take Algebra 1B, third quarter you take Geometry A, fourth quarter you take Geometry B, something like that. Then you get 4 grades. But 99% of the time, it'll be semester grades. They're special schools. So make sure you have the transcript and you show it to the counselor. Okay. What if I'm not sure? Should I not complete this section? It's okay to complete it for now and we can change them later. Where do I put the course that I have taken between summer of 8th and 9th grade? It'll be going to 9th grade. Okay. If you have taken it from the high school. Okay. If you have taken it from middle school. So the question is, I have taken a summer school, but then I took it from middle school. Okay. Then it's going to go into 7th and 8th grade. But after middle school, I took this summer school course, then put it on their 9th grade. Okay. But again, that transcript, show it to the counselor, then we can work on it together. Is this a school you'll be graduate from? Yeah, most likely. I told you that you start from the recent one, right? So I put yes. Most likely you guys will be getting high school diploma, but some private schools again, IB, but most of you high school. And most of you will finish in either May or June, right? I'll just put June for now. 2026, that's a graduation. Okay. Save. Again, I can edit if I say, oh, you know what? Actually, I forgot to put summer. I did not take 9th grade summer. Then you just go back and check. Okay. All right. Um, international students, little bit more complicated just because you have to find the school. Okay. So again, going back to, I'll do China. Okay. When you type in the name, okay, when you type in the name and search, you might find the school, you might not find the school. Okay. So my suggestion is make sure when you meet your counselor, tell your counselor, my transcript, I have more than one, you know, I have international school. So help them input that information. Okay. That's my suggestion because it's sure you can do that too. I mean, you're definitely capable of, but it could be confusing. Okay. And you put wrong information, we can edit it, we can change them anytime. It's just I will say when you do it first time, you just do it. That's fine. Okay, let's say I'm done adding all the schools. Then this is where you put that information, okay? Most of you, um, I will give you one thing that a lot of students get confused with. Okay, so I chose Cerritos High School, right? And then let me start entering the courses. And then let's say I have taken homeroom or advisory class, and I don't see advisory class. What do I do? It is not academic class, then it's not going to show up here and you don't add them here. Okay. What if I took English 9 honors? Okay, I took English 9 honors. Um, so English 1 honors here. Okay, and then it says honors type. This is not honors. NH means not honors. Okay, uh, what's going on? Is it wrong? No. Um, you have taken honors courses, but then this honors course is not considered as the GPA boosting honors course per UC. Okay, that's why it shows up as NH or non-honors. So don't try to add that class on your own. Choose the one that shows up on your transcript. Don't worry about it and just make sure your grade is correct. Okay. Now, I said make sure your grade is correct because if you put wrong grades, your acceptance can be rescinded. Okay. If you work with me, I make sure every single grade is correct. Okay. So, and you notice that there's no pluses and minuses. Great. So yeah, it's a solid letter grade only. Okay. So you're going to do that. But again, your counselor should be checking this to make sure that you're okay. All right. Um, okay, you're gonna do that for 9, 10, 11th. And then you might be thinking, oh, 12th grade. I'm taking courses. I don't have grades yet. I'll be taking those courses. Do I just leave it blank? And the answer is no. You're gonna be putting what courses you're taking first semester and second semester. Okay, so most of you will be taking like whatever civics or government, right? And economics. So let's say I'm taking AP government in progress. First semester, I'm taking it, and then PL, plan to take it, which means I'll be continuing the AP government first semester. I'll be taking it. Second semester, I'll continue that. That's what it means. Okay. So you need to know what you're taking 12th grade, first semester and second semester. And sometimes they switch. I know some schools, you take government first semester, econ second semester. Okay. Like I'm taking civics first semester, but not second semester. But I'll be taking econ, economics, what are you? Economics, CP, not first semester. No, I'm not taking it. But second semester, I'm planning to take it. I'm not taking it right now. Um, question that I see is what grade do I put if I took a push class first semester and changed a regular history second semester? Good question. I've seen that happen a lot. So you go to 11th grade, let's say. Well, I didn't have to, but let's say let's say I was a push and I got B, right? But for whatever the reason, I decide to change to regular US history. And second semester, I got A. Well, I didn't take that. Nope, I didn't take it. No, I didn't take it. So I took first semester, second semester, different class. But I didn't take second semester of A push. I did not take first semester of A US history. Okay. Okay. Uh, now, if you went to public school with, remember that California State student ID number, you put that information and your high school is participating in this program, then this will be auto populated. Okay. But that doesn't mean that it's completely okay. You still have to check. Okay. All right. Uh, if you attended community college, dual enrollment, any of those things, this is where you put that information. Okay. So let's say I went to Cerritos College. Then I choose Cerritos College. Oops, not all location. Cerritos College. Search. Cerritos. Select. And I put when I attended, let's say February 24, and then I took two courses throughout high school. I'm still taking it. I'm gonna finish it in May 2027. What is this college's term? Usually their quarters, right? And then I took one class ninth grade, winter time. And then I'm taking one class 12th grade right now, fall. And then they give a letter grade, something like that. Okay, so if you have taken any community college courses, this is where you put it. If you don't have any, great, that's okay. Many of the students don't take any college courses, then that's okay. You put, I don't have any. Okay. Um, Now, some of you might have few explainings that you have to do. One example, let's say you switch school. Okay, you transfer from Whitney High School to Cerritos High School, or you move from one of the Chinese school and then you moved here and then you got in, I don't know, you attended Ayala High School 10, 11, and 12. Okay. Then you want to explain any situation. Okay. Let's say you have straight A and then one semester in English, AP English language, you got C, and then you know there was an issue with that, whatever the class. Okay. This is where you can explain that. Okay. So just make sure if there's something that you're giving a context to the college reviewers. So if you have something that you want to say, make sure you talk to you can talk to your school counselor too, but you can also talk to me. Say like, here was some situation. Like I was sick. I had to miss 2 weeks of school. I was hospitalized. I missed a whole month, and then that's why my grade got tanked. I try to make up, but whatever. Or, I skipped one semester because I was really sick and I had to be hospitalized. Or I had to participate in this whatever athletic sports competition, and we family decided to skip a semester. So I don't have a semester. Anything like that. Any irregularities that you have, please let us know so we can explain that. Okay. Health class is not academic class. If it shows up, great, but UC is not gonna count, most likely. Okay. There are some classes that you're not gonna see. PE, first of all, you're not gonna see PE because uh, it's not academic course. Um, ROTC, JROTC, sometimes they count, sometimes they don't. So again, talk to your counselor. Anything that's like, oh wait, I took this class, I thought they count, but then I don't see it. Please let us know. Okay. Um, I'm gonna go over, sports. Good question. So sports do not count as academic courses again, but some schools, they make it as a academic course. So you're not gonna see sports grade here, because mostly they count as PE. Okay. But I know some sports courses, they count as academic courses A through G. So talk to your counselor. I know that I have to review your transcript if it counts or not. Okay. Thanks for asking question. I don't have the answer because I don't have your transcript. I have to take a look at your transcript. Okay. Um, Test scores. If you have any APs, you put AP and then you start adding AP. Okay. Now, oftentimes students and parents ask, okay, so I'm taking AP government this year. I have no intention of taking it. Okay, what do I do? Uh, so should I add it as a planned that I'm taking, or should I just not include it? If you're planning to, just include them. Okay, that's okay. And you decide not to take them, they're not going to rescind. They're not going to rescind. You just have to let them know that you decide not to take the test. Okay. Completed means you already have a score. So let's say A push, right? I know you have taken A push sometime in May, right? 2026. And let's say A push US history. And you already received the score and you got 3, 4, or 5, then you get credit. What if I got 1 or 2? Should I disclose them? It's up to you. Okay. It's up to you. It's not going to help you in any way. Um, UC uses an addition model, which means you do something good, they're going to start adding points. Okay. So, if you got 1 or 2 on AP exam, not going to help you. So there's no point of adding them. Okay. Uh, Another question. It's on the same tab as my other high school courses, even I took it on UC Scout. Oh, okay. Good question. So if you're talking about dual enrollment, okay, I'm moving on with the academic history. I'll answer this question last. So one more time. So if you have taken like UC Scout, you have taken community college and then you put it on high school transcript, let's say, okay? You have taken on class and then it was a dual enrollment, you put it on high school transcript. For now, just don't put it in and then just talk to your counselor, okay? And then work with your counselor. Okay, CL counselor to input that information. Okay, for now, okay? I just want to make sure I look at the transcript, how it looked like. It depends on your transcript. I know academic history section is the most complicated section because depends on how they show up. Um, um, it the transcript basically will determine where they go into. Okay. Talked about test scores. Now, um, academic leave. Okay. Activities and awards. This is a section that you're going to spending a lot of time also. Okay. So you're going to see that you have actually 20 slots. Okay. 20 slots to put any of these things, either award, education prep, extracurricular activities, any other courses. Other courses means something that doesn't show up on your transcript. Okay. Let's say you have taken coding class outside of school. Okay. Outside of your regular, whatever, high school. That could go in there. Um, Volunteer work, and the work experience means you worked and then you got paid. Volunteer and community service means you worked and you didn't get paid. Okay. So let's say you did intern. Okay. You were an intern. You did internship and you didn't get paid, then it goes under volunteer work. If you got paid, it goes under your work experience. Let's say you worked at your parents' store. Okay. And you didn't get paid from any allowance from your parents, volunteer work. You worked and then you got some kind of allowance or you got paid from your parents, it's work experience. Okay, that's it. Here, this is a section you have to work with a counselor, so I'm not going to get too much details into this, but be prepared to make sure you have a list of activities that you're going to be writing about. Okay, up to 20, and we're going to make sure that we complete 20 slots. Okay. Scholarship and support program. This is where you, whatever the criteria that you meet, uh, you're applying for some kind of grants and scholarships and all that. Okay. Some of them are automatically entered. Some of them you have to write an essay. But here, at least you're getting, or you're going to get information to follow up. But here, you can just check the ones that apply to you. Okay, so let's say I want to major in chemistry. So first one is academic major or interest. I want to major in chemistry and education and maybe life science too. Then you just check them. Okay. You can check all of them if you want to, but you can check the ones that you're interested in or you're gonna applying for major. What if UCLA, I'm applying for chemistry, but UC Berkeley, I'm applying for life science. UC San Diego, I'm applying for education. Then you just check all of them. Okay. And you meet the criteria later, then you're going to be entered into this scholarship. Okay. And that doesn't obviously guarantee that you're going to get scholarship. It's just you're applying. Affiliated group, anything that applies, see how all of them, you just have to go through them and see which one meets the criteria. Okay. And like career plan, I don't know what I want to do, but I think I want to do some kind of business. Then you just check business. It's okay. Right? You don't have to be 100% solid that you're going to be doing business. You just check them. I think I'm going to do business or work in some kind of economics, but I kind of want to be a teacher too. Just check them all. Okay. Sometimes students ask me about support program. Okay, support program is usually this is for low income family. Okay, um, EOP is for the low income family. So if you get free or reduced lunch, you might qualify. Again, multiple criteria. Okay, low income with first generation college student. You know. I would say traditionally disadvantaged like uh, group of people. So those things count. So please let me know or counselor know so we can help you. Okay. The personal insight. That's a essay part. PIQ. Okay, so I'm sure you're working with someone in terms of PIQ, or you will be working with someone. Hopefully you already met, but that's a section where you choose which essay am I gonna answer, and you answer them. Okay, so this is pretty much it. Where you talk about your background. We completed most of them, and then where you want to study and what you want to study. What was your high school academics look like, including test? What have you done in terms of activities, right? And tell me more about your personal background, personal life. That covers all, okay? Now, I'm gonna go back to one more thing. It's about showing, highlighting who you are, okay? All the great things that you have done. So make sure everything shows up, everything, all the great things that you have done, okay? Which means, um, if let's say you did something great and then somehow on the application that one is not mentioned, you gotta tell counselor, so you gotta mention it somewhere. Okay. You had some kind of hardship. I mentioned like one example where um like I was sick for a whole month and I couldn't go to school. So my grades were not that great, 10th grade, second semester, so on and so forth. Um, if it's not written on essay, it's got to show up somewhere. Okay. There are places where you can put them. Okay. One place is, like I said, after academic history, there's an additional information section where we can write them, or at the personal insight, there's an additional comment section where you can talk about pretty much anything. Okay. I'm not talking about sobbing story, but I'm talking about something that really impacted you. Like but then that's not written on essay. You don't have to mention it twice, but it's gotta show up somewhere. Okay, so make sure you mention that. All right. If there was a hardship, extra, something different, special hardship or something that you did well and you want to highlight, we got to say it somewhere. All right.